And then the hotel.
Yeah.
Right here, it's the breakfast.
That's my location.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So stop.
I know that. I think I just, Mayor, great, it's in the room somewhere, it's in my desk.
Terry got bumped to move dangerous. I thought.
No, it's not a permit, it's a real one. We advertise. On website. Moving forward, we'll have it, I'll have a phone band, so we'll need to go out, so all we don't see. And, no one's watching, I started book 120 people already. So it's.
Yeah, that's right. Wave to her. There's no lights or nothing.
Yeah, it's terrible. She's not gonna be, if I don't see it.
Task force.
Yeah.
The whole thing, Travis heading. And what's her name? The other one hasn't stopped on Delphi there. So it should be so bad. I'm not even having kids.
No, I can read it. Are you guys ready tonight? So they should know.
All you need to do is put the link on the app.
Oh, yeah, but for tonight, I'm talking.
I can do that too. No, I can put that on.
Or we could just sell them.
Wait, you want to see yourself?
I haven't.
I can make it see yourself. Yeah, there you go.
I want to see my.
I got everything. I got everything.
So that mean I gotta sit up straight now? Welcome to Westville Council meeting, everyone. Nice to see you. All rise for the flag. Resolutions to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public notice, please.
Notice of this meeting was advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and complies with all the laws therein. Notice was published in the South Jersey Times and uploaded to the municipal website and sent to the Courier Post for information. This meeting is also being live streamed.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Fritz Sims.
Here.
Councilmember Donna D'Amico.
Here.
Councilmember Travis Lawrence.
Here.
Councilmember Mandy McCullough.
Here.
Council President Bruce Nordby.
Here.
Councilmember Tracy Van Acker. Here. Councilmember Timothy Young will not be in attendance tonight.
Okay, we do have a quorum, one absent. Just a special announcement, you may be wondering why those little sticky notes are on the doors back there, green ones, yellow ones. The men's room and the ladies' room in the back have a combination on them if you need to use the bathroom. The doors going into the hallway of the bathrooms are open. Combinations on that for you to get in. Having some problems, and that's our safety please.
We need approval for the meeting minutes for both the regular council and executive session from the March 24th meeting.
Everybody got a copy, council?
Motion to approve. Second.
Questions? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, please.
We need, we have public comment on agenda items only.
Motion open. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Meeting is now open to the general public for any comment on these items or agenda items only. Please come up front to the mic.
Yes.
If you have any comments.
Seeing none, motion to close. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, please.
We have council committee reports.
Everybody got a copy of the committees, professional committees, questions for our department heads, professionals? Yeah. Need a motion to accept it, if there's no questions.
Motion to accept.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, please.
We need committee updates from the committee chairperson.
Celebrations, public events.
Yeah, Mayor, we met, celebrations, we're still moving forward with, everything going on, planning fireworks, Memorial Day, September 11th, and Fall Festival. Vendors are coming in, both food vendors and, craft vendors for the Fall Fest. People are excited and interested in coming back, so we're just normal planning on those, items. The only thing I will say is, we're going to need volunteers. We definitely need volunteers. It's always something. Please come out if you want to be a part of the community, so on and so forth. Plan our events and see how they go on. Please come out and be a part of the celebrations committee. That's all I have.
Get involved and make a difference.
Right.
Thank you, Travis. Finance and accounting, I'll speak on behalf of Chairman Woodby on this. The introduction of the budget is on the agenda tonight. Introduction. Public meeting will be at the next council meeting. But just the finance committee met, which I filled in for the chairman. And so the budget is $250,000 more from last year. That's mainly due to our insurance costs, pension costs, and our debt service. We're seeing an increase in our taxes per household. We started out at $60 per household on an average household of $128,000. The committee, after speaking at the committee meeting with the CFO and the administrator, we were short on our surplus. After we used the surplus to create 2025 budget, we come up short of our threshold that we should be at. So the committee asked the CFO to make it, instead of having a $60 increase, we went to $75 increase. So that's how the budget is basically where it is. Committee, don't forget anything? Travis? Crazy?
No, the only thing that I would add, that is for municipal services only. That's what that is, municipal services only. We're not cutting anything. This is to sustain everything that we have, as the mayor said. This is to, the reason things are going up. One is our surplus. Two, debt service, healthcare, pension, and regular insurance, just like it's going on for everyone else, it's going on for us. But that is municipal services. That is not in the school, it's not in the fire department, county, et cetera, et cetera. That's just municipal services.
So there will be a public hearing next council. Ordinance and code enforcement,
Nothing this time.
personnel,
Nothing at this time.
redevelopment, liaison, Bruce.
Via email, Ryan put out, we have to meet in the next 2 weeks. He asked for dates. So I put out mine. I asked that the rest of the committee, if you haven't done so already, get them to Ryan so we can set a date.
I have a question about that, Ryan. The dates, it has to be by, what day? Is this week for us?
No, I would say next week and we get.
So the week of the 5th? I think I did respond, I have such minimal time. Like, literally.
The 7th is the best day for our redevelopment attorney. 7th is the best day.
What time?
Yeah, all day. So I don't know, we want late afternoon.
I'm off that.
I don't know what's,
I mean, if we could do the date, I have I'm after work, I have at 5 o'clock on mandatory DEP meeting. But it's soon, so it could be sooner than that. I mean, it's 4, it
I'm
should
off
be
all day,
3:30.
so.
Is that doable?
How about Travis?
I'm okay with 4, if we can do 4, I'm okay with
4 o'clock
I
in
mean,
the,
this is proceed, this is,
4. Yes.
Proceed.
it's gonna be longer than.
Well, yeah, leave it. I mean, we'll have a redevelopment attorney in there.
Well, if that's the date, I mean,
Well, that's one of the dates. I'll send you what Bruce had and what, Kevin has and Tim tomorrow when he sends me his list. And then you guys can decide what day you want to do.
that's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's the only day that will work for me. Or the 6th to work as well.
We got, yeah, I don't think we can do Monday and Tuesday.
So they're the 2 days.
Yeah, well, they're the first 2 days. We can do 7, 8, and 9, but Monday and Tuesday is out.
All right. 2 days to work.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Public buildings and grants, Tom?
We have a couple, I think there's a request on later on in the, yeah, and I mean, well, I could, now, community center, I'm just gonna jump since it's a public building. Marty, how is the status of, is he done? Or is that guy doing more work now?
So I haven't talked to him in probably a month and a half, and he hasn't returned my call, so probably gonna have to look into getting somebody else.
To do the steps?
The steps, replacing the new railing and some stuff.
Well, I mean.
All outside.
Right, and my opinion at this time is we should be up and ready renting. We should advertise the agreement fees. Kate has the paperwork pretty much ready. I think at this point, we should open it up to the public and, you know, let them realize the new fee, it's not free, it's not 100. You have to have $200 cash deposit, and it's what, $400, you know, free for residents? Yeah, it's 400.
Yeah, it was just short.
I had it slash 200 for it, and then more for if they were out of
Out of
town.
town, I think it was like 500, which is a fair rate, you know, especially for that size room. And it's beautiful in there,
Oh, it is, it is.
so.
The other thing we need to do, and, is come up with a date for reopening.
We should do that.
I just, either we have those steps fixed prior to opening, or we close that door. They can't use that.
Yeah, I can just close that door.
The other door,
Yeah.
see the little field off.
And that, and the
Yeah.
other thing I have is that main door, that cement there, we turned it out.
Right, where it's
Right.
chipped away.
Yeah, but it's not,
Yeah.
it's not hazard though. It should
No.
be fixed.
But
No,
Tim's
but I
working,
can-
you're fixed or not.
I can patch it. I can make it better.
I have a couple concrete ones. See if I can get somebody-
Yeah, should be wrong. I do have somebody in mind, but they have cut back.
Yeah, no, I'll do that.
So, do you want to shoot
Make it
for,
a motion.
like, June 1st?
I think, do we want to try to have that grand opening before the summer?
Yeah, before everybody goes away.
Yeah, absolutely great. It should be in May then.
We got youth in government. That's going to take a big chunk of time.
When is that, in that
That's
early?
the 19th. And then it's the work area.
I think it should be as quick as possible, that graduation party.
Yeah, I think we, yeah, but you want to do a dedication there, right?
No, I'm just saying that we can get people to rent graduation season. It would be good to have it as soon as possible.
I guess it all depends on when you want to
Let me check my schedule.
and check and see what.
We have to
Leo,
see if
right?
they're-
Yeah, see if,
Leo.
Leo.
Are we looking at a weekend or are we looking at a weeknight? Weeknight.
I'd say weeknight. With my weekends are packed like everyone else. So.
Well, you're wrong.
No, I'm just crazy.
So should we contact them?
Yes.
Check their availability.
Yeah, I think we do it. Midweek is probably best.
What?
During midweek.
We're gonna contact Leo, see when they're available. We'll come up with some dates.
So that's tentatively, I'll make a motion that we tentatively get it ready for June, early June rentals.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? Any questions? All those in favor, Johnny, please?
Aye.
Opposed? Like that. Thank you.
I'm gonna add something to, Councilman D'Amico's, we have the CDBG that came back out, again, I just got released today for both counties, so we wanna still go out for the bathrooms again. Now we have it renamed as a senior center. And,
Yes.
and so we could probably fix up the two bathrooms for handicap.
Absolutely.
I mean, we set it up, the doors are already set up for it, so now it's better getting the bathroom.
She specifically said to reapply.
What's that?
Christina from the county said to reapply for that.
Yeah, so we're gonna.
It'll be a
reapply.
good project.
So we're good, if we're okay to do that, then
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and put that together and get that squared away.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah, we need a motion to,
I'm gonna make a motion that we apply for CDBG funds to fund the rehab of the senior center bathrooms.
Exactly.
Questions? All those in favor, John?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Ryan. Public safety, municipal court. Tim's not here, I don't know if we have anything.
Public
Public safety,
safety, I know, nothing except Michael updates us frequently. Very nice.
water sewer,
Nothing is done.
next, Peter, please.
And we're moving on to new business. We have introduction of ordinance number 6. For the calendar year 2025, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank in accordance to NJSA 40A:4-45.14. Need a motion to introduce.
Motion.
Second.
Questions on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember D'Amico.
Yes.
Councilmember Lawrence.
Yes.
Councilmember McCullough.
Yes.
Councilmember Van Acker.
Yes.
Council President Nordvig.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next,
We have new business and a consent agenda. The items listed are considered to be routine by the Borough of Westville and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no formal discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. We have Resolution 60, authorizing approval of the bill list for April 28, 2025. Resolution 61, authorizing the purchase of a dump truck for the Public Works Department from H.A.D. Hart and Sons in the amount of $160,209.07, and that's under a state contract. Resolution 62, introduction of the 2025 annual budget. Resolution number 63, authorizing self-examination for the 2025 municipal budget. Resolution 64, resolution certifying the governing body of the Borough of Westville's compliance with the United States Equal Opportunity Employment Opportunities Commission's enforcement guidance on the consideration of arrest and conviction of records and employment decisions under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Resolution 65, authorizing the Borough of Westville to execute an agreement between the Borough of Westville and the Borough Engineer for new PFNA and PFOS remover filter system at the water treatment plant using USDA funding through Rural Utility Services, Department of Agriculture for water treatment systems. Resolution 66, authorizing the appointment of Geraldine D'Amico to the position of crossing guard. Resolution 67, authorizing the purchase of an Exmark Laser ZX riding lawnmower from Laurel Lawnmower Inc., 1850 Choose Landing Road in Blackwood for the Public Works Department. We have resolution number 68, authorizing the execution of a shared services agreement between the Borough of Westville and the County of Gloucester to provide family movie entertainment. Resolution 69, accepting request for waiver of medical insurance coverage and for reimbursement of 25% of the single insurance rate not to exceed $5,000 from Keith Farrell. And that's the end of the consent agenda.
Pleasure on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Questions on the motion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember D'Amico,
Yes, but abstain from number 66.
Councilmember Lawrence,
Yes.
Councilmember McCullough,
Yes.
Councilmember Van Acker,
Yes.
Council President Nordby.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next, please.
To continue on with new business, bids were received and opened by the Deputy Clerk and Public Works Manager for the lawn care maintenance of certain borough properties with the results. Northeast Group being the lowest bidder at $2,175 per cut for a total of $43,500 for 20 cuts. So we have resolution number 70, authorizing the governing body of the Borough of Westville to award the bid for lawn care maintenance of certain borough properties and parks to the lowest bidder, Northeast Group, for $2,175 per cut and $43,500 for 20 cuts.
Pleasure, council.
I have a question on the motion. I'll motion to approve it, but I have.
We have a second.
Sorry.
Questions?
Marty, was this the same group from last year?
It is, yes.
All right, and you were satisfied.
Yeah, they're actually cheaper.
Okay, that's all. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
The name.
Yeah, no issues.
Right, that's it.
Just a comment, I find it interesting that the low bid that we're awarded is 43.5. And then one company bid, who were doubling that, 113,000 for the same grass cuts. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember D'Amico,
Yes.
Councilmember Lawrence,
Yes.
Councilmember McCullough,
Yes.
Councilmember Van Acker,
Yes.
Council President Nordby.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next, please.
We have an application for the 2025 used car license. The registration fees have been paid, and they've been approved by both the police and fire departments. And that's for Aces Auto Sale, Corsino's Repairs and Services, Rosario Enterprises, and Mark Anthony Chevrolet.
Pleasure, council.
I make the motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, please.
We received applications for the 2025 amusement license. Fees have been paid and approved by both the fire and police departments. And that would be for Grabby's and the Rail House.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, please.
We received a request from the fire department to hold 2 coin drops, one on Friday, May 16th, and the other on Friday, September 18th at Broadway and Olive.
September 5th.
Yes, what I said.
18th.
Oh, no. I don't know where that came from.
I make the motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I abstain on that one.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next, please.
We received a request from the Rolling Badges to hold 3 coin drops, and they will be held on Saturday, May 3rd, June 28th, and October 4th at Broadway and Olive Street.
Question?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, please.
We received a request from the Rolling Badges to use the baseball fields for a canine demonstration and parking on May 31st for the Bobby Schiffler second annual event.
Motion.
Second.
Just one comment. Did anybody check the resolution?
Yes. I I actually met with, I want to say Chief Lester and discussed where they're gonna park. They're gonna park where football parks on that old practice field, on the walk field, on the outfield, not the infield. And yes, there's only unfortunately, two teams this year.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Next.
We received a request from the Westville Dragons / Sons of Pitches to use the Park Avenue ball field for a men's slow pitch softball team for their spring and fall seasons that will run from April 27th through November 23rd.
Chairman.
Yes, the committee did discuss it, and as there are no residents on the roster at all, we decided it's too long to commit to that. And we're suggesting that we deny that request.
I'll second that.
And there's already someone on that field now, so.
Well, then we got to redevelop it. So.
But
Questions on the motion? All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next, please.
Last item of new business, it's a letter of support, and the Environmental Commission would like the governing body to compose a letter to ANJAC supporting their open space stewardship grant to create a pollinator garden at Galbraith Park.
Whatever, council.
as chairman of the park, chairperson of the parks, yes, I think it's a great idea. And if anybody has driven by there, it looks wonderful, what they've done so far.
Yeah, I should think that on that one.
Are you guys planning, the planning started, right? So, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it cleared the moon. It's a perfect
Yeah, it's a crescent.
crescent moon. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Good. Thank you.
Motion.
Questions on the motion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And next, please.
We have items of discussion, and the first was community center,
Which we discussed.
which we just,
All right, so we're on the next topic.
an Airbnb in Westville.
Okay, believe it or not, Westville, unbeknownst to a lot of people, now has an Airbnb on Edgewater Ave. Who would have thought? There have been some complaints over there, nuisance complaints. I don't believe they made complaints to the police department, but they made complaints to housing and code enforcement. So we have no ordinance on Airbnbs. There's no way to enforce them other than when they change tenants or it's housing inspector. So before we refer this over to the ordinance committee, I'm looking for comments to see what we want to do here. Other towns has ordinance, I think Ryan said on that one, that covers this. And, so I'm just looking to get everybody's feeling on what we should be doing.
Well, what's the nuisance? Noise? Or
Noise, safety of new tenants coming in and out every week, not knowing who's there.
But PD hasn't been contacted.
That, never.
What was the address again?
13.
Other than what we had discussed before.
What's the problem?
Without noise, and one resident was saying they have a small child and they're afraid of the safety of the small child because they're seeing tenants coming in and out.
Well, I mean, if there's people living in the house, then it'd be the same situation. I mean, my thing is if there's a problem, they should call the police. If there's a noise issue, should call the police.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
until the paper trail started, then it's a non-issue. I mean, unless we ban Airbnb, which they don't do that.
I just brought it up and I told the person, the resident,
we should regulate them.
You need more regulation because like obviously like you get CO for any time somebody moved out of town and based on your ordinance. That means every single time it gets rented out, it needs somebody new.
Right.
So
which is-
that, there's gotta be other regulations to either have it or don't have it, but you need to put the regulations.
all right.
People could rent it out and have a big huge party there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've rented Airbnb, so, several times, and they're wonderful. Just saying, if I owned a house on Edgewater Avenue, who knows, maybe I'll, like, Martha will become a new beautiful venue someday.
We definitely, I think we definitely need to put some type of regulation on there. Airbnbs are great, right? I've had them, I've rented them out in other states and places. But a lot of the issues that some of the towns are looking at, and definitely looking at some of the larger towns, is giant parties where thousands upon thousands of juveniles really are showing up, and causing issues.
Especially with pools.
Yes, exactly, especially with pools, and it's always a pop-up party, right? So the town doesn't know about it, no one really knows about it, it's all on, social media and everything else. So I definitely think there is something, I'm not saying ban them, but I think we need some type of regulation.
No disagreement here, I'm just saying, I know that would pose an issue with inspection every time. I'm renting one next week
Yeah.
in Virginia for a graduation, we're there 4 days. I mean, if I was the owner, I would have to get a CO every 4 days rental, that's kind of over the top.
Yeah.
And again, I know everyone has this fear factor, but if it's not a problem, let's make rules and regulations, but I wouldn't jump to worrying about 1,000 kids fitting in 13 Edgewater Avenue and swimming in the creek.
Unfortunately,
did.
unfortunately, a lot of these other towns don't think the same thing either. That's part of the problem, right? So it's a different society.
It's news to me, I just haven't
Yeah.
heard of any issues.
Yeah, so it's a different thing.
I can give you some information on that.
Yeah.
I have seen issues.
Yeah, no,
Around.
I think we should regulate it for sure. Maybe we should.
Can we get copies of some other towns' ordinances, and then the ordinance committee will adjust it to.
So we'll refer to your
Chief,
We're meeting tonight.
Yeah, I would just like to add, yes, we do need to have some sort of regulations in there. I can tell you, I have heard of these issues in some other areas with this happening at places like this that didn't have regulations. You also have to worry about squatter rights too, depending upon how somebody all of a sudden wants to go there, and then now you're not able to move them because in New Jersey, unfortunately, Trenton allows certain squatter rights. And then you have a big problem. We've already dealt with it a few times in some of these homes that were condemned and abandoned. And, it's a process. So I do think you have to be mindful of that. And unfortunately, yes, the juvenile issue in this state is not getting any better. It's getting worse. And they are doing these things. Again, it's not Westville, but just over the weekend, Rowan had a flash mob, ran its college students. The week before, Denver had a meet up in one of their parking lots where there were 70 cars. With the weather getting nice, these things are going to start happening. And I'm not saying we should ban it. That's not my wheelhouse, but I definitely, to protect yourselves, have some sort of standard and checks and balances so you know who is renting that Airbnb and who's coming in and out. So at the very least, if something does happen, we at least have a mean to go off of. And then go from there. If it's something that we have to investigate, if it's a free for all, there will be problems. I will bet my pension comes a lot of problems. So that's it.
So we'll refer to your ordinance committee, look at some templates that we can find, and, go from there. Okay. Good conversation. And on that note, I just want to make a comment to the general public. If you're having a problem with your neighbors in any which way, even if it's noise, whatever it may be, you have to call, if it's a police matter, for sure, wait until it's documented. And when we have things like this come up, it's documented and we have something to go by. So just please keep that in mind. Every time the police responds or receives a call, a part of it, it's in the CAD system at, communication center. So we can backtrack and say we have 15 calls on this particular property. There was really nothing other than what being told to us. Just please keep that in mind. All right, next, please.
We have town events that Chief Packer will address.
Touch a little bit on it.
Yes, so, again, just, as we had discussed before, we have the fireworks coming up. Which is that's what we're talking about. We will, I've been in touch with, Steve Cook from Elion. We will have our, IAP in place. We will have, I'm going to ask that the county, if they do do this, their automated license plate reader, look over the usual section between, Summit and Highland, because I'm assuming they're required some load during across the river. So people are gonna have to go past there anyway. So that'll kind of help with some safety and back to the license plates. We're also going to have our, we'll have a social media scrub for safety issues as well. There's an, threat to that event. I'm sure some of you know Gloucester Township was canceled their, Gloucester Township Day, which is what happened last year. Unfortunately, that is something that we have to be prepared for, we have to consider. It's a risk that we take. Again, I'm not one to want to get into the mob and think we should shut everything down because of a few bad apples, but unfortunately, these things are becoming more and more prevalent. So, we will be as prepared as possible, just like we were last year. I had all my officers working, the only officer that's not going to be working that day is also had pre-planned vacation or scheduled. So I didn't feel it was fair to deny him that since he gave me a year notice. So, but if you guys have any questions or any other safety concerns, I'll try to address them for you.
And we feel we need any other officers, someone like that.
Yeah, I will
We'll
put
see what
a,
the current events is.
yeah, I will put a notice out, to all accounts about the date and, if need be, we can keep you joined for any issues. We'll be available, but we'll try to make sure that we have, I think what we're gonna probably do this year too, is at least try to have one officer, maybe two, kind of floating in between all of the streets going over to Newport, just looking to make sure that no large groups of people are being dropped off, because that's usually how this is happening. They're being dropped off by cars, whether it's by friends, family, or Uber, Lyft, and then they're leaving. So, I think that's something that, we'll just have to have somebody up there monitoring that, and, we'll be as prepared as we can.
To the residents, understand there are no credible threats right now. All right? They will be watched, it will be addressed if something does happen. But there are no credible threats at this time.
And again, if a credible threat does come in, I will make sure that you guys are aware and make sure that we vet it, make sure that it is credible. If it is something that is credible, then yeah, we're gonna have to really consider that. Unfortunately, shutting it down if it's something that is credible. That would be my recommendation. It's not worth the risk. But as of now, there's nothing. And we can monitor it and do the best we can.
Okay, any other comments from council? Wanted to get it out there and go over with everybody where everything's going. All right, next please.
Communications, we've received a letter from the Westville School District thanking the borough for approval to install fencing on borough property in the vicinity of Parkview Elementary.
And Marty, I think you're meeting with them. According to the letter, they said they will help with it.
Yes, I did last week and everything's, it's myself and fence contractor and then someone from the school. everything seems to be in line and good to go. So, yeah, I have no issues with anything and where the fence is being installed. We're basically following everything we discussed before. So, the only small change they made was up around the school, we're actually shortening it up to save a little money. So, yeah, it's not.
Is this chain link or is this
It'll
vinyl?
be black chain link, yeah, it's 4 foot. To match what's around
I got it.
the court and the playground.
What's the easier,
They were, I think they're just waiting on something from the school. So sooner,
first, the new year?
I believe so, yes, that in the next month or so.
And our guys will be able to get into the.
Yeah, so there'll be a double gate on the one, and we actually talked about putting a rolling gate, on the front to where the, handicap spot is, by that one garden. So they'll be able to get in and there, out of there, with a bigger truck, it'll be truck size, and then I can get in and out if I have to. And the gates, the fencing around the playground will have, what they call bicycle gates. So you won't be able to get anything in and out of there other than double gate on the back side.
Thank you for that update. Next, please.
We have public portion. Individuals must state their name and address for the record and respect the 5-minute time limit while addressing the governing body. Individuals wanting to speak need to wait for the mayor to acknowledge them. Once acknowledged, individuals must speak into the microphone and address their questions to the mayor.
Pleasure, council.
Move to open. Second.
All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? The meeting is now open to the general public for anything you'd like to discuss with the mayor and council. Please come up to the mic, state your name and address for the record. Whoever wants to be first.
Good evening, Mike Herman, 105 East Olive. I just wanted to speak to the Airbnb thing real quick. I did a quick search while I was sitting back there. There are at least 3 Westville properties that come up on Airbnb, so it's not just that single one. I know I'm not personally for them because I like, this is a small town. I like residents, I like community, and short-term rentals don't allow for that. So I'm not a big fan. If possible, when you guys are looking at ordinances, could you make it so that it has to be a resident that owns that property? Like if Donna bought a house on Edgewater and rented it out, she lives in town. So that makes more sense to me versus a property management company from New York buying up all of these relatively inexpensive areas, flipping them, doing short-term rentals because they're a higher dollar value, but they end up hurting the town long-term because nobody buys into what we're doing here, what we're trying to get done. So if possible, when you guys are considering the ordinances, please think in those terms. Thank you.
Mike, quickly, I literally just looked at 3 model ordinances from Patterson, Atlantic City, and Jersey City, and just because they came up first. And they all have set criteria in that, like that, and language with insurance and registrations and.
Yeah,
you
so
know,
I'd like to
just
see something
literally.
like that. It's one thing if
Yeah.
it's somebody's second home that they're renting out to try to supplement income.
And you must designate a 24/7 local.
Yeah,
response manager.
Yeah, something like that would be good. So this way, like if Mike's guys come up and have to deal with something, they're not waiting 3 hours for somebody to commute down and deal with the property.
Right, that's,
Yeah, coming from-
we'll scrutinize that for sure.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, Stephanie Vernacchio, 22 Center Avenue, Westville, New Jersey. Mayor Fritz, I want to thank you personally for always helping me when I need help. And Chief, I want to thank you especially for what you did to help with Matthew Cox this week. Matthew Cox has been my next door neighbor for 13 years, and he has terrorized me and my family for that whole time, and it's gotten worse and worse. And as you know, he was the perpetrator of a crime on Broadway, the 18th, I think it was, officially, April 18th, whereby he attempted to kick in a resident's door and wheeling a machete, broke her window and slashed her tires. She and I have both been victims of his insanity over the years. And that spring break was the scariest for me and my kids. And I really want to thank you for working that case. But now I want to ask you, what am I going to expect? The minimum. What am I going to expect?
So, I'll tell you what.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. And we're glad to help, as I told you, the best we can according to the law. We'll do anything that we can for all of our residents. And it's a shame that what's going on, we have to put up with that. But we're here to help. And I think we did that, so thank you.
And I know sometimes it's frustrating to process how it works. And sometimes the investigations are painstaking, they take time. All I ask, and I tell everybody this, is just sometimes let us put the pieces together. Because the last thing that I'm ever gonna have any of my detectives do or officers do is prematurely charge somebody to have it go to court to be thrown out. Because then it all, you jump to the conclusion. I tell everybody all the time, we may know who did X, Y, and Z, but it's not what you know, it's what you prove. And that's the same. So it's frustrating for the victims, I get it. But thank you for the compliment, and I'm glad we were able to do some with more. But I'll be it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Seeing none, Mayor, I make a motion to close.
So,
All those in favor, say aye.
uh,
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next, please.
We have comments from mayor, council, and department heads.
Okay, Ryan, Administrator.
Yeah, I got the annual financial disclosure statements. Everybody received the email from Nicole to make sure you get them completed by the end of the month. If you haven't, see me after the meeting. Everybody has pretty much worked the borough and the management or anything needs to do that, and all the elected officials need to do that. And to April 30th, so make sure we get that done. We're every 2 years we have to re-up our EPL, which is employment practice liability insurance. They go through all the different things, make sure we're following all the rules and employment practices. Like it goes through any updates to our handbook. So there could be a lot of things going through here through council. We've had some resolutions to probably redo our handbook if there's any policy changes that the chief wants us to do. We'll all be in there. If you want to be a part of that scenario, just let me know. I'll let you know. Like you'll get everything in advance. But if you want to adjust anything, this is the time we do it. If there's something in the handbook you want to change, if you don't like how something's done, we're going to update obviously your time to go by the previous time. So we have like our office hours have changed since then. So in practice liability, we can change it in our handbook. So just want to let everybody know that's going on. And I don't know if you're going to touch on Mary Cruz on your end.
On the meeting?
Yeah.
No, you can.
Okay, so we met with Donald Norcross's office in discussion of what we have to do around town. And I received a phone call on Friday, I want to say, and I wasn't able to relay anything to anybody, but I believe the mayor might know. We received like a couple years, about 5 years ago, 4 years ago, we received $250,000 from Spearman's office, received a grant for flooding, to do a study of flooding. Since then, they found that they got another $500,000, upping it to $750,000 in flooding money for studies and help do some work, and whatever's left over to do some work. The Cameron County Improvement, Cameron County, Improvement Authority, the CCMUA, is running a project, for the study around 7 towns, like Runnymede, like Westville, Gloucester, Brookline, there's a bunch of towns, Belmar, about the flooding. And they have, the study has been done, it's completed for the first time, I'm hearing that it's completed. We're hoping to get something within the next month to see what this looks like. There's some, we're talking about seawalls, like along the banks, but they're looking for a small, as Travis always says, low-hanging fruit, things that we can fix. One of them is the Cape Pier in Westville on that list. So there's more on that stuff. There's some things for Brooklyn also, but it's finally, after years of having these flooding meetings, we're seeing something that can be tangible, that has a good report, because they said if you stop flooding one area, what's the next part gets hit. So it was a very extensive study. So just want to give everybody an update of where it's at, but hopefully we'll have a meeting in the next couple months with the committee and with the flooding committee. Somebody from every town will be there to go over what they're looking to do. So I just want to give everybody a heads up. So,
Thank you for that. Did you have to get a copy of it?
we're going to get a copy. Yeah, I told Mary to send it as soon as she had it, but they said it is done and it's being run by the CCMUA.
I
And
think
if there's money left over to use for, like I said, the low-hanging fruit stuff, not the big projects like a seawall around everything, but if there is something, they have a plan that we can look at. It can be used for a hazard mitigation plan, which is coming up soon, for here and for other surrounding communities. So
I'm pretty sure that meeting in May I have to attend. It's that
Gonna be
CCMUA, CSODP, yeah, so I may get some information next week on that.
That's the one former Mayor Borough was setting up all the time. Somebody
Well, it was
set it up.
from, it was.
With the,
Belmar,
yeah, it's not everybody. Yeah.
yeah.
They were the ones we took around town and busted.
Correct.
That's been 2 years ago.
Yeah, but it's like I'm saying, finally coming through, all that money has been spent for the study. Army Corps of Engineers is involved along with CCMUA and stuff. So.
Good. Hopefully, we get it all solved. Anything else, man?
That's it.
Solicitor, engineer, no?
Thanks, Mayor. We did have 2 bid openings last week. Both bid openings were on April 16th. First one was for NJDOT project, reconstruction of High Street. The low bidder for that one was Stink Pavers, with a bid in the amount of $310,752.00. The second bid opening we had was for the reconstruction of Chestnut Ave, and Stink Pavers was a low bidder for that one as well. Their bid was $166,734. So once awarded, we'll submit those up to the state for approval to go to the next stage and then get for a pre-con meeting and get them started.
I have a question. What was the award from DOT for that project, those projects?
So for High Street, $234,900. And for Chestnut Street, we received $205,210.
They're not gonna let you divide by 2 and split.
Correct.
And they have to do it with 2 bids. It's crazy.
And High Street, what is the limit on that? What are the paving limits?
From Duncan north to its end.
So with that intersection, are you including that?
Yes,
Yeah,
that intersection is included in all the handicap ramps, that intersection is included as well.
To the top of that high, 310 high. There are a lot of
There's
contours
a lot of comments.
Okay. All right, thank you.
That big tree,
And that one,
big tree that was down.
Oh, good.
Mid.
nice. Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you. Making progress, 2 more streets.
Fortunately, the utilities are okay there. The sewer was reluctant on high.
Sewer is water, we're gonna have to, we're gonna abandon that, the main stair down, switch everybody over to the 12.
As well.
That's part of that.
Okay,
Yeah, there's no way you're gonna pave that street without
no, that's smart.
something awful.
Yeah, it's not that many houses.
It's 20 exactly, and then 2 just abandoned in the building. So fairly easy.
Yeah.
Just expensive.
Okay, Chief?
Just a couple things and I'll see the rest of the executive. Our new Tahoe should be coming in May 5th. All the paperwork was submitted for the USDA grant, we're just waiting to hear back on that. That's going to be I did apply for the Energy Star grant again. That's through Sunoco. I was denied the first time because I actually put in for that. I'll set the cost for the police fencing. He said that we couldn't use it for that, but they asked me to reapply again, so I did put in for a radar along with another MVP from one of the parks. So hopefully, if I get 15,000, that will cover that. And then last thing, I will be leaving for Key West on Wednesday, coming back Sunday. There for 40th birthday.
Good for you.
Good for her. Good for her. And then the rest of it is
Good. Like, there's one question now, I know you sent, quotes out for the new fence. Yes, you talked to the committee yet, publicly.
I gave them the quotes, my favorite quote, they had any questions. Discuss them. I have a copy if anybody needs to see it. The fixed ones, the ones that match each other. One was a 4 foot, one was a 7 foot.
Are we 4 foot or 7 foot?
7.
We are going.
Yeah, 7, yeah.
I never heard of a 7 foot fence. 6 plus barbed wire.
Yeah, 7 foot, I'm not gonna probably do the barbed wire.
Well, I'm not doing 7 foot.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, so West Effort, it's supposed to look exactly like what West Effort has outside of it. I can get you guys pictures.
I was confused when I was talking to the mayor Monday.
Yeah, 7 foot. Yeah, and you still will be able to get 2 shoulders, it's not gonna block off that little wall.
Right. I know committee-wise, we were discussing the gates, and it is something we need to sit down and discuss, because my opinion is not to have an automatic gate exiting to the parking lot toward Broadway. My opinion is just block it off completely and stop any police cars from speeding through the parking lot responding to a Broadway call. And I know it's only literally minutes to go around either Delsey or down the center.
You still have to have that.
I'm saying have a gate, man, but not an actively used gate. Because I think that's a liability as a person who may park in that parking lot.
Well, if you remember, that was blocked off before.
Yeah.
It had that, guardrail there.
So the police officers wouldn't fly through.
And then it went, and then it got.
I know.
Well, was that also because we've had, I almost got hit the other day, somebody cut through my line.
Right.
And, yeah, so.
Right, so I mean, if you're in agreement, we should talk.
Yeah, we talked about it.
And we agreed no block.
Yeah. So, yeah, if it's going to be that high, if it was 4 foot, I would say, and I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I spoke to a couple of police departments that had it, and they did have people climb the fence. I kid you not.
I'm not doubting that.
You've had people
Not
climb
people
the
park
fence.
there.
You've had people climb the fence, believe it or not. It's the society we live in. Believe it's happened.
I'm not against 6 foot and barbed wire, really.
What's that?
I'm not against a 6 foot fence and barbed wire.
I just think the barbed wire in that area is just.
Yeah.
Aesthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, West Effort, it does blend in, like, it does look good, like, it's not like, because at first, it's like, yeah, I don't want to look at prison.
Right.
So,
So, with the committee's blessing, I guess we'll be able to move forward with
Yeah.
it.
He has a, I mean, if you need a formal,
yeah, that's one. Yeah, I'm fine with, again, having it on, being able to get out once we did that before.
Travis, you're good with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim's good with it.
We are, okay, with approving that tonight, that,
Yeah,
okay,
the quotes are gonna come down to the price, too, because, they have it for electronic on both sides. So it's gonna save a good amount of money, especially with the electric, with it just being on one side. So that's
Are
fine.
we comfortable acting tonight on it, so we can get moving?
Yes, yeah, we know the ball slow, yeah. I'll make a motion that we move forward with the chief's recommendation for the fencing around the police department.
Questions? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember D'Amico.
Yes.
Councilmember Lawrence.
Yes.
Councilmember McCullough.
Yes.
Councilmember Van Akkeren.
Yes.
Council President Nordeby.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried, thank you. Anything else, Chief?
Yeah.
Superintendent of Public Works, Mark?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank, Ryan and Mayor and Council for agreeing to replace that, the dump truck and the lawnmower. The dump truck was 35 years old, well used, and the lawnmower was 15 going on. 60. Really, with the hours, it's probably double. So, very well used, and the new ones will be put to use.
All in
Just want to
favor?
say thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Nope.
Deputy Clerk, Pete?
I'd just like to remind everyone that the May 19th meeting will be in November.
Okay. We're gonna do one, you can explain to you what we do. It's a good night. We'll start down to my right. Councilman Norby.
He always brings me up.
They steal your thunder.
It's good to see a lot of people here tonight. As I always say, if you need to know what's going in town, rather than bashing on social media or some other way, or trying to figure out, this person told me this person told me that. Come here and say your piece and talk to us. And like the mayor's statement, volunteer or join, make a difference in town. There's plenty of room. I don't know if this was last month or not, but I just wanted to pass on congratulations on the safety award for our GIF. It was well deserved. A lot of people put a lot of good thoughts together in their meetings, and et cetera. So thank you, Marty and Brian, for heading that up. That's all I have.
Just to add to that, since you brought that topic up for the award for safety, I know Nicole, I just found this out today, Nicole and Marty, and I know we have to work on having some kind of celebration to recognize all the employees for their safety, which the award was monetary, so we're going to use that to hopefully have some type of lunch.
Yeah, the award was $1,000 to be used for lunch to promote safety. You're all.
Yeah, details will be, that's a congratulations.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Councilwoman D'Amico?
Yes, two things. One, I guess staff did the environmental commission here. But personally, I'd like to thank you and your whole entire group for undertaking that project. River Drive, we're looking at improving with a walking path and et cetera, with plans. And it is heavily, I live in New Hope, so I know how many people are over there. But it really looks nice and it enhanced that park. And I know it's a lot of work, and even her, what was he, 9
He
year old.
did the bulk of it.
He did, her 9-year-old son did a lot of digging and labor. And it's really like labor intensive, so. But secondly, I did receive a letter, an email from the Rolling Badges from Les Winnet, which had nothing to do with the day I visited him because it went to my junk. But my Westville email if it's a new person, it goes to spam or to infinity, it goes away, I don't even get it. So I had them resend it to my personal, which I then forwarded to my committee and the mayor. They are looking to be relieved from the water and sewer charges as other, like the Lions Club doesn't pay, and they have the same type of lease with the building. And I spoke to my committee, so I am making a motion that we, from this day forward, relieve the rolling badges from their water and sewer billing. Now, mind you, if they had a leak and did not tend to it, now we have this fancy program that we can identify leaks and monitor people's hourly usage, then they would pay that, and they would agree to pay any issue. Or if, for example, they had lack of heat and then the meter froze and broke again. But their charges, I feel like they should not pay, the Lions Club certainly does not pay. And if I had a building for the Women's Club, we would ask the same relief. But I should, though, we need my house.
I'll second that motion.
So just a question on that.
Yes.
On other nonprofits, churches are nonprofit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, if they come before us, are we willing to do?
Well, I think that, in my opinion, it's, they give back to the community too, the rolling badges, the Lions Club. I mean, the Women's Club does, but again, we don't have a building, nor do we want one. One less thing to worry about. But yes, they give back to the community, and I feel like, I mean, there's a church that opened up in St. Anne's. I don't even know what it is.
Right.
All I know is they have traffic directors out there on Sunday now.
Yeah, what?
Traffic director, they have a guy that asked, and he's directing people to park at Fairhaven Island. And so I don't know who they are or what they are, and I guess if they become involved in the community, yeah, I mean, it's something we should consider.
Well, I think this instance, right, are we the owners of both the properties?
We're the owners of the property, and we own the building, and it's a lease, and it will probably always be our building, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I think also too, Don, it should be noted that they've got a ton of money in fixing things that they've never asked the borough to pay
Right.
for.
He showed me that area that he just had fixed, said that you went over it with you, Marty. So,
And I don't disagree, but if they have issues, since they are leasing the property from us, I don't want them to put out that kind of money. Until they approach us.
I do.
I mean,
You should at least report it.
right, exactly.
Well, I believe that was.
And that's what we talked about.
Yeah,
Which one?
with the wall that was caving in.
That one was, yes.
I just don't want to run into a liability issue.
No, and I actually toured the building. I mean, it's impressive, actually. Really impressive. I mean, he even offered us to use it for training, and I'm actually thinking about, I was talking to Kate about that today, about a gym thing, having something there. So, but anyway, I told him I'd bring it up, and I apologize it wasn't on the agenda, because it went to nowhere, and then it was too late by the time I got it off my personal email. But I did make the mention. All right.
So just to extend to what Bruce just mentioned on the nonprofits, because I know it's going to come, I just want to give you a heads up.
Only if somebody makes it come.
So, because the fire department pays their water bills as a nonprofit, you're probably going to get the same request from the fire department when this is out.
But
I
you
have,
own the building,
I
right?
have no problem with what we're doing. Absolutely no problem, as was not correct in the emails that I saw. We discussed this about a year ago or so, whatever it was, and that was one of the issues, and no action taken. No problem whatsoever, but I'm going to guarantee you the fire department will submit to have a waiver on their water bill and sewer, as we're doing with the other nonprofits.
Right, but no other nonprofits collects tax dollars. The fire district pays.
Fire department does not collect tax dollars.
Fire
Directly,
district does.
directly.
Correct.
However,
Right.
I need
You're
to,
right.
so the fire district rents a part of that fire department to house their equipment that the fire department turned over to this borough 35 years ago. All the volunteers agreed to turn all that equipment over, so the fire district didn't have to rebuy anything. That's how all fire district and fire department relations work. All over. So volunteer firemen and firefighters and women volunteer just as much as a Rolling Baptist does and save lives every day. There's no doubt about it.
But that's not even the question.
No, I'm just going by what in the email, Don. I don't disagree with what we're doing. I'm just
I
giving
didn't know
you,
what that was in that email.
I'm just giving you a heads
I'm
up.
not seeing that.
If you read it, I'm reading, I didn't like to turn the email because it put me on the bus.
He didn't turn anybody in there. He took completely, he's talking about people he never mentioned to a person. He said a live person. And it's a very long email, and
All I'm
he
saying,
concluded that they're grateful to be able to lease this building from the borough, and thank the improvements they've done, speak for themselves, and show pride in their town. And it's true. It's a very nice building.
this is the continuation of last year. Again, I have no problem. I'm just giving you a heads up. It's probably when it comes to the committee.
That's fine. Fire, they can send it.
And don't,
Send a letter, it's fine.
That's all I'm saying.
And we'll meet and discuss it, and we'll handle it as we do, as a protocol, for sure.
Thank you. No, I'm sorry. We need a motion, we have a motion second to waive this long habit.
Can council actually get a copy of that email that they received?
I could totally forward it now that we discussed it. Yeah, I couldn't because the sun's shining off.
Right.
And we need a roll call.
Councilmember D'Amico?
Yes.
Councilmember Lawrence?
Yes.
Councilmember McCullough?
Yes.
Councilmember Van Acker?
Yes.
Council President Nordby?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Oh, Mayor, I did have one thing I forgot. Coming up the first weekend in May, and they're arriving already. Don't get freaked out if you see a bunch of people looking like Santa Claus, because there's an event at the firehouse where they do their training for Santa Clauses and different things like that. So you'll see them supporting the town in the different locations, restaurants, etc. So, like I said, it's, you're not going to see the little elves running around, but you'll see a whole lot of Santa Claus.
That's fine. And this is,
And Mrs. Claus.
and Travis is here, so I'm being. Yeah, and then it's not like that. No. Anything else? No?
No, thank you.
I just want to second on it and thank you, Steph, for the work you guys are doing for River Drive. It does look very nice. Thank you. You're welcome. It looks great.
Yeah. I guess there's plans to expand it, so,
I can't wait to see it.
yeah.
That's it.
Bruce kind of stole my tongue. That's all good. No, this is what the environmental committee is doing, I want everyone to know this, is excellent. And that's what it takes. It's not just a council or a police department or public works, fire department, whatever else. It takes an entire community to make that community go and run and improve and everything else. Everyone has to be involved, not just one person or one committee or one group. A lot of these things that you see around, I remember in 1962 when I grew up, yeah, well, everyone was involved, right? So everyone's got to be involved, and that's proof right there that, getting involved, making a difference, as the mayor always says. The other thing is we definitely need volunteers for our celebrations. People are going to be leaving us, getting burned out, they've been on the committee for X amount of years, so on and so forth. All the events that we have in town, it's all done by donations, no tax dollars. So, we need to start doing fundraisers and everything again, or potentially that may go away. Fireworks are getting more expensive, prices aren't coming down. anytime soon. So, we need to look at those kinds of things, and everyone has to be involved in those things, not just select committee and council. It always seems like we're the ones that show up to those events. Everyone has to be involved. And then lastly is, yes, so I know it's not Christmas yet, but it will be Christmas this weekend in Westville. There are Santa Clauses and Mrs. Clauses and elves, there are elves actually, coming in from all over the place, as far north as Ontario, Canada, as far south as New Mexico, and everywhere in between. This is a big thing that's happening here in that community. A lot of big time Santa Claus and Mrs. Clauses that a lot of people have probably seen or recognized that have been in movies, television, nationally syndicated parades. They're all coming here to Westville. And it's all because of everything that this committee, residents, businesses that have been doing to improve this community. So they were ecstatic to be a part of this. Some of them are here already. We are pushing to promoting local restaurants, local businesses, local eateries. A couple of people have already been to the Westville Brewery, as well as Lorenzo's and Latentiano. So we hope to expand that over the weekend to some of our other businesses like Piskers and Sporenzas and so on and so forth. So everyone is very appreciative in that community to be here and is looking forward to everything. And the town, the residents, the businesses have put out everything that they could to support that as well. So that community, that group, that organization also thanks everyone for supporting that. That's all.
How many registered do you have?
We're close to 50 actually.
50 Sam.
Hello.
And, they're looking to make it an annual thing. Every year, same thing, right? So it is a good thing that this is happening here. And Westville is the inaugural location and hopefully continues to be that location for years to come. So we're on the nice list now.
Thank you for organizing that. As Plymouth Business and Planning Chairman and everything we're trying to do with the downtown area. Hopefully, like you said, we push into the businesses in our town, and it's a good thing. So we appreciate you bringing that to the town, to help the town and business. Anything else? Councilwoman Van Atten.
Yes, it's my turn. Seth, fourth on that, it does look right down there. Really, really appreciate it.
I will.
Chief, great job with the two major incidents that we've had over the last couple of weeks. Great to take care of them, quickly, efficiently. Done.
Thank you. The officers worked very hard, but they got called in the middle of the night for one. They worked it nonstop. So they did a good job with it.
Great job was taken care of. The public recognizes that it's handled. Mr. Finger, thank you for public works taking care of a few issues down at the ball fields that have been going on, just some safety issues and things. But you got right out there and took care of it, and much appreciated.
It helps when you send pictures. You're welcome.
Who's this Mr. Payne?
And that's all I have. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Teresa. And I don't have too many comments tonight, but just a couple mentions. Everything everybody already talked about, the environmental commission, the police department, for their attachment for environmental commission, on River Drive. Just thank you. Two new topics I had on here. My comments were over the next month or so, we're going to be presenting and dedicating proclamations to two businesses in town. This one business in town has been here 100 years this year, 2025. Before the end of the year, we're going to recognize them. So that's being planned. And there's another business, I don't want to announce her name right now, but another business has tenure in town, too long time. I know we have Ravi sitting there, been here a long time. This is something new that we're doing now, so we appreciate you being here. But this is continuing to recognize our businesses and parts of our towns to keep everything going. So look for some information on that. You already heard that we're going to dedicate the senior center to former Mayor Harry Skowski. We're going to come up with a date for that. When we all can make it and the family can make it. So that'll be announced with the date.
How long has Bradley been? I mean, I know my whole life. 93 years.
Same family. They not just same business, same family.
Right.
That's amazing.
They've
90
changed a lot, but it's been around for different people, yes. Grandparents started in 1933.
For 93 years then, you're coming up.
1933, so this would be 93, well, yeah, this year.
Yeah.
25, we say 26.
Okay.
Look good for your age.
Been a while.
That's long. I've never long.
Thank you for continuing the family. So over the last 2 weeks, as little was, we mentioned a little bit that I met with the engineer and Ryan and Superintendent of Public Works Administrator. We are moving forward with the walking park on River Drive, as Donnie mentioned a little bit. There are plans for it. We met and as the mayor and the engineer and Brian and Marge, like I said, to just see where we're at with it. It's moving forward. Once the new design is created through the engineer of the Parks and Grounds for their review and put out the bid. And it's going to be done in 3 phases as of right now. And with walking paths, the playground, hopefully gazebos, all along River Drive to an extension to Galvin Park. And it'll really enhance that area. So that's what we're looking at doing. And it's moving forward.
Mayor, can I ask, where would the playground be located?
Right now, it's on the plan to be towards Delaware View. With the gazebo in that general area. And other than that, that's
John, I have a question. When are the bids for the PFN, the gap? Are we ready with that?
The vessel bid is next week,
Next week.
and the resolution that was on the agenda tonight for the agreement was part of the other paperwork that we had to get into USDA to get the authorization to go out for bids for contract 2. That was our last piece. So once we get that into that, we'll hopefully get the authorization of the bids within a couple of days, and then we'll have that out.
So the
Plans
bid,
and specs are all done for that, so it's just a matter of getting the blessing to be able to.
so the bid next week is just to purchase the
Just
vessel.
the vessel, so it's basically a follow-up from what we had done before with the procurement.
Right.
They made us jump through some few hoops because they, as much as we demonstrated in the past, they haven't allowed that. They made us go out for bids for vessels separately, but they did allow us to break it into 2. So we still will have the savings on it by procuring the vessels separately from having the contractor through having the markup on them. Just to add to that too, all the vendors that we did solicit quotes for direct purchase are all, have all been in the loop the entire time that we go from USDA. And hopefully holding our spots in line for the vessels.
You were dealing with Kevin from, no, not Tig. Maybe he's a Kevin too. Yeah.
Tig, Calgon, Aqueous Vets have all been heritage.
Yeah, because I know you're on the radar, I just didn't. All right, so that's just the vessel bid.
Correct.
Not the contract.
And
rest
not
of
the
it.
median, just the vessels.
And I didn't look at specs because I didn't ask you for carbon, I mean, we don't jealous.
The carbon will be a separate.
All right,
Yeah,
thanks.
it's identical to the direct purchase that we.
Right, okay. All right, thank you.
other business? Can you use that business?
A resolution authorizing an executive session. Whereas the public shall be excluded from this meeting pursuant to NJSA 10:4-1213 for the discussion of the following: personnel matters, purchase, sale, lease of property, and protection of public safety and property. Be it further resolved that the disclosure to the public of the discussion conducted in closed session shall not be made until such matters have been resolved, and that this meeting shall reconvene in public session at the conclusion of the executive session. Therefore, be it resolved by the mayor and council of the Borough of Westville that this meeting be in executive adjournment.
Pleasure, council.
Motion.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. And,
Everybody online. So